The first 3 maps done already. Sandhawk got into the mix, but we started on Miramar, and it was all about the south. Some big shifts in the circles, 2 very distinctly different planes, which did mean some different positioning, especially as we mentioned for a team like Na'Vi. But overall, it's Exalt that's leading the way, and what a second game they had. The first game, Liquid, I don't even know if they were in that. Did they drop out of the plane, or did they just keep flying over top of the map?
They were in it very shortly. They weren't. They definitely didn't make it through to the mid game. Obviously, going out in 16th place is a disappointing first game for them.
I think we can agree that Liquid's game has been less than the fluid that we're used to at this point. They don't seem to be sort of on their point, and we'll see how that develops throughout the tournament. They are a team that you don't write off after 3 bad games or 3 rough spots, but...
I mean, Sandhawk, they look 10 times
true.
better
Exactly.
already. They got themselves a decent kill stack up on Sandhawk, so that's the way you want to see
an understatement.
And
I think we're
a team bounce back.
I think Sandhawk does start to show, and we'll come back as we are going to get into our halftime show. I think Sandhawk is showing that teams that want to be aggressive are going to get rewarded for that. You can see the big kill counts coming through for Exalt. Obviously, you mentioned Liquid. FaZe had a decent second game. They had some good kills. I think Uba came up to something like 4 in total for him, and they had 8 kills as a team.
11 is a kill.
11. Okay, there you go. Even more than that. But yeah, pretty impressive how fast the teams want to play on Sandhawk, and I think that can be a make or break for teams that are slow getting into this. I will introduce myself again since we're getting back in. I'm Sadicist. Obviously, we got Toffees and Hypoc, and Hypoc, I'm going to put you on the spot right away going back to that Liquid, because I asked who's going to show up, who needs to, and you said, oh, Liquid's definitely going to show up. You could
I did say that.
You did.
Yeah, I did say that.
Verbatim.
I guess for me, it's one of the ones I was most excited to see. And again, on paper, you look at it, that roster is now stacked. You'd expect, obviously, having watched the scrims, obviously having seen, I guess a bit of a taste as to how they're going to perform. That's one I would expect to come flying out of the gate.
Yep.
Definitely a disappointing start. There's no sugarcoating that at all. But I mean, you can see there's definitely promise there. They demonstrated, effectively moving around the circle on Sandhawk, and again, it's a bit of a wild card within the map pool, but again, there's definitely promise.
A disappointing start, but I think when you brought up that Sandhawk game, we can look at that and point to it and say, in Sandhawk, they did what they sort of have built this new roster to do. It was a dumpster fire of a circle. I mean, there's no way around that. This was an anomaly in terms of just, I've never seen that before.
Mr.
It was
Circle
crazy.
Today is not scared of water.
And Liquid did the right thing. They unleashed sort of just open fire tactics. They got 12 kills. I mean, between them and Exalt, they killed 27 of the 64 players who dropped on that match. So the 2 teams who said, you know what? Things don't make sense, let's just start fragging, they did great. And that's what adding K-Mine to the roster was supposed to accomplish. That's what bringing Mixie on board was supposed to accomplish, was sort of upping that kill potential.
I think as well, if you scrap out the second Miramar, that first Miramar was kind of I think they positioned well, and actually it felt like Amarkan just kind of swung around on that fight. I don't feel really they had any business staying alive there, to be honest. Team Liquid positioned perfectly for that. They were proactive, making moves on the compound, scout it out. They got themselves into position before engaging. Unfortunately, they got turned on.
There was a lot of talk in the green room just when we were sitting and watching the game about being caught out of position, and that's not so much as a team. As you say, the rotations were good, but sort of one player, James, was brought up. Maybe he's overextending. Is that costing them? Are they then having to be reactive to the situation instead of proactive in their own attempts? Is that something that maybe they have to be a little more careful of?
I think that's fair to say. And whilst we don't know internally what the decision making is, but definitely having roles. If James is supposed to be the person that's being the aggressor, engaging in team fights, positioning to be the first person to take the shots, and that person goes down, then ultimately need to come up with a plan to counteract that.
Yeah.
Again, I think it was Toby mentioning what you
that's
were,
right. Yeah, it was Toby that brought that up. Yeah.
And if that's something that we can keep an eye on throughout the games, maybe we can see a pattern developing there. But I think definitely, again, coming back to looking at this roster, they shouldn't have a weak point in my eyes, to be honest.
Sure. I do want to bring up 2 teams, because you said start of the new year, chance to make an impression early. This is an open book, I suppose, the whole circuit at this point for everyone to stamp out a page. Singularity pick up a win. Awesome for them. And Na'Vi is absolutely holding their own despite Wednesday morning getting the call to be here.
Yeah, I mean, I think Na'Vi has stepped up, but Na'Vi does what they do best. They've been taking fights on foot. They got 2 really bad sort of first circles for them on Miramar, considering they drop on the north side of the map. But they did the right thing. They made late rotations. They stuck to the edge, and they got to a point where they could ditch the cars and just start playing Na'Vi PUBG. And that's what you do, especially when you get here late. For me, Singularity, you gave them the shout out. They deserve it right now. A little bit of a tale of 2 Pomes, right? We saw him do really well in one game. The next one we saw him whip like 35 shots. It was a little bit rough. But they are also a team that's stepping up. When I asked them sort of in a pre-interview who's the best team in South America, you always expect people to be like, we're the best. And they were like, oh, Red Canada's is way better than we are. But Singularity has come out and put up a really good performance and a really strong start, and you got to give them a lot of props for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think actually, if you were to sit there and call who would win the first game, I don't think anybody on the talent team would have picked Singularity. So it's great again. And in the pre-show, I was talking about confidence boosters. That's the way you want to start. A 16-game series. Sorry, 18.
18.
Yeah,
18.
And they told me their biggest weakness is that we focus on what's happened, right? Like they get stuck in the games that happened previously. So for them to do well in this tournament, you got to come out strong. You got to be able to.
Yeah, that's true.
When you're focusing on the past, if it's a win, dwell on it, right? So this is good news for them.
Yeah, build off that. You pointed out a few things that you wanted to bring to the viewer at home from the first game. A couple of tips, perhaps, on how they could relate to what they're watching. Because it can be very different.
I mean, I think one of my favorite things to do is sort of look at and say, hey, all of us, we don't get to play at this pro level. We get to try different things at home. What can they teach us? And one of the first things is sort of the pre-fire peak. You can watch Free Kill do it right here. Something that the Korean players do really well that has been sort of oozing into the Western scene is that pre-fire before you know someone's coming around. You notice he put as many bullets into the door frame as he did into the actual open door, and that's totally okay. Sometimes we get stuck in that, well, I should wait until I see the guy to shoot, and that's, if you want to improve at home, don't be scared to start firing early so that you're already raining down lead before they even come around the corner.
I mean, on the flip side of that, it's also kind of, it puts Luke 12 in a position where if he hears the bullets hitting the other side of the wall, he's like, well, I'm not peeking that now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to look at another angle to look at.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. If I hear that, I'm not running around going, well, why? He's already shooting. Let me just walk into that. Yeah.
And it's a safety peak, right? If you're just holding that hard peak because you're like, I want to see if he's going to throw a grenade, you are exposing yourself to if Luke decides to spray on his entry. So what you're doing is every time you're looking to get information, you're covering your own behind, and that's an important part of PUBG, because ask any of these teams what makes you the strongest, and they say if we can get 4 to the final couple of circles, we can win each match. And that's the key, is keeping yourself up so that your team is stronger.
Well, I think it comes deeper than that as well. If you look at it, actually some of the best players know when to take a 1v1 and when not to. And actually the smartest players are the ones that say, this fight isn't worth taking, or this peak isn't worth taking, it doesn't gain me anything, I
think that's one of the things that when to go aggro, because I watch it, I'm thinking, man, like I either want to take every fight in some games or I don't want to touch any of them. And these guys have split-second decisions to make that have massive consequences, considering they're playing at a competitive level. They're not doing one game, okay, back in the plane. Okay, I guess today we kind of are. We're doing the back-to-back thing, but you get my point. There's more at stake in terms of a concurrent
discretion
strategy.
Is the better part of Valor, right? Just, I tell my kids, sure, just because you're angry doesn't mean you should charge in throwing fists right away. The idea is you have to look at the situation and say, is this the right choice right now? Am I the bigger man from walking away from this fight and doing the right thing for the people that I'm working with? And that's what we want to see these guys start to do.
And I think actually they've got a clip of some of this now that you highlighted and how to get aggressive and the time
taking
to
fights
do it.
when so this is a fight about. This is more about when you should take a fight. We saw this fight with SDK, Alo on the low ground, stops a push by WC. While this is happening, Team Singularity is just over the hill. They're trying to control this northern side of the map. And I think here shows a little bit of too much passive. This is a good time for Singularity to get aggressive, to move forward, and to take real estate for themselves, Hypoc.
Yeah, and I think actually the big thing in that, there was a couple of teams that sat, we talked about Oath sitting in the compound up on the north side. Singularity was the one that acted 2 circles before anybody else that had a compound to play from, and they were out. And actually, that was the perfect opportunity there to come in third party of that fight after already positionally being more aggressive than the other teams in the circle, and then opting not to do that.
Now, they still won the game, so take nothing away from that, but they could maybe a few extra points.
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, and they could have picked up a few extra kills.
100%. So I think that's the other part of PUBG. It's knowing when to make those plays and not being scared to do it when you have to. And in fact, that was a push move.
It came down to Pomi winning a 1v2, right?
Yep.
I think Pomi actually ended up third-partying wildcard, wiping Exalt. I'm not 100% on that, but there was one down. Pomi got a second knock, I'm pretty sure, and then it came down to the 1v1 with Kickstart and Pomi.
Exalt, by the way, have 3, by my math and following, like 3 top 3 finishes now. They've got a third, a second, and a first on Sanhok, where they finally closed it out. And I think against the Olmec game, I think they could have easily picked that up. They had, I think, Monkey being a monster. That's where I was going with that.
Yeah, no, I get
Bring it all back together. He was looking very solid.
Yeah.
There was a couple points in that game. They were under pressure the whole time.
He went absolutely bananas in that game. It was impressive to see him just sort of peel the other teams apart, come up with these massive numbers. And not only are they in top 3s, each of those top 3s came with huge kill counts. I think it was 8, 9, and like 15 respectively. That means that as we look at, as we kind of tally the numbers and get to that scoreboard eventually, you're going to see that Exalt is now very comfortable. There's a lot of games to play, but they're going to be light years ahead of their opponents.
Well, by that math, that's 32 points on kills.
Yes.
And if you get 3 first places, that's 30 points. So they've basically...
I think they're going to be north of 48, 50-ish, somewhere in that
50.
ballpark. Is it 50?
Yeah.
So yeah,
wow.
that's
which
crazy.
is insane. And actually, again, this for me is, I don't want to say an underrated team, but definitely a sleeper team in this lobby, because a lot of these, 3 of these players are going to be fairly tainted by previous performances on other rosters last year. Now coming to it, we talk about Reciprocity, we talk about G2 last year, and again, having a disappointing finish to that.
Yep.
Now coming together in this roster, you wouldn't look at it and go, wow, I'm going to expect them to do crazy things. And with the addition of Nailup as well, again, very talented guy, actually looking as if he's rounding out this roster.
I mean, honestly, I think that's what Nailup brings. Is his team told me the upside is he doesn't have tons of pro experience. He doesn't have any of these
It's a blank
hang-ups.
canvas.
That's what
It's a blank canvas.
He plays like there's no hang-up and no stress, and it's showing.
Just saw the shot of Liquid, obviously, sitting there talking. They're going to be talking about a lot of things going on forward. Obviously, need to continue forward with that momentum from Sanok. Maybe it's good that they get lunch now. They get a bit of a break. We're going to take a little bit of a break from us, but that means we're going to jump in with someone else who's got a lot to say. Singularity won map 1, and they got a chance to chalk with Cat after it happened.
What an explosive way to start the tournament. I am joined here by Quick of Team Singularity from Latin America. That was an insane 3v1 clutch by one of your teammates, Pome. And I'm sorry if I say that wrong. Pome?
Pome. It's okay.
Pome, apologies. Now, talk me through, in those situations, what the team communication is like when 3 of you are on the sidelines. Are you talking, or is it very silent for you guys?
No, of course. Communication is very important. So, but we try to do it just the most important things. You can't be exploding the earphones. So we try to tell everyone where are the other players, or when to push them and all that.
I think that's absolutely incredible, because some players do like the complete silence, and it's cool from a player perspective to see that you guys really help your teammates in those situations. Now, as a team from Latin America, that normally the region is a little bit more in the shadows in terms of North America and even like Korea, how does it feel winning the first game of the tournament?
Well, as I say in the previous interview, we have the surprise factor. No one expects anything from us, so we can turn it into our favor and do things like this.
So last question, and I know this might sound terrible, but did you believe that he could win that 3v1 against those fraggers on the other team?
Yeah, because he had one knocked, so it was 1v2, and once he take the first one, it was 1v1, and he's a really strong player in a 1v1 situation, so we had totally faith on him.
Well, thank you so much for the interview, and good luck on the rest of your games.
Thank you so much.
I love the quick maths. Do you think he could beat that 1 on 3? Well, it was 1v1, and then he killed 1, and then it was a 1v1. So, yeah, all right. Hey, fair play.
Well, he said they were excited about having this element of surprise, and I hate to break it to him. The secret's out. Singularity has shown that they can place. My worry for them, though, is yes, they got the win, and they've got a couple of good placements, but their kill counts are low. They're focusing largely on positioning over putting the Ks up.
That goes back to your point of when to be aggressive, and the fact that they were that passive when they had a chance to third party. I would argue exactly what you just said. That'll get you a win or 2 here and there. You'll squeak across the finish line, but if you're not picking your own destiny and taking those fights, you may not control many games.
I mean, come Circle 5 and Circle 6, to be aggro in terms of pushing out a compound when you don't have to, you're not being forced out by blue yet, that takes balls, especially when there's still, 25 players alive. So to do the hard work and then kind of I mean, well, yeah, no sugarcoat it, pussyfoot around the situation at the end game. That's where you're going to lose points over, a day, a particular map over a short series. And again, over the weekend, they need to be absolutely maximizing the games where they are going to win. They're maximizing their point collection out of those games.
Quick look at Na'Vi as well. We mentioned them, obviously coming into this with little preparation. Great Sanok game, second place for them. Lost, of course, to Exalt, who's been the class of the field. Before they got to that game and won that, though, they were actually second to Olmec. Olmec wasn't a team that I was as versed with coming into this, didn't know what to expect. That was a pretty convincing game from them, and it looked pretty authoritative at the end as well. They took the fight. They weren't willing to sit back. They didn't want to get caught on their heels.
I mean, for me, I've got big expectations for Olmec myself, and again,
Sure.
that's just based on, I guess, the history of the players, the talent that's on that team as well. So, no surprise for me to see them come out and win a game. Sandhawk. Again, most teams will end up writing it off, but again, to have a positive showing to take out of that is going to leave them in a really good position for the final 3 games of the day. Over the weekend, I'm expecting them to just be quietly consistent. Come Sunday, we're probably going to see them in the top 5. I mean, I would expect to see them in the top 5 in a decent point position.
I think kills are going to be more influential than I was expecting. I expected it to be an even spread today, but it's just 1 or 2 teams running over everybody.
I mean, I think gone are the days of M19 where you can sort of win by consistent placement. You've got to put kills on the board. You've got to get a good win.
But again, that's for a team like that, saying that I expect them to be quietly consistent, to have a win in the first 3 games,
100%.
is fantastic for them. Because again, M19, perfect example. If they'd have just clutched out a few wins in was it GLL season 2? Again, to make it all the way to the final day and be in such a strong position without getting a win, it's like...
And I think that's a big part of it. It takes pressure off, so they can be a little more passive and in control of the situation. They don't have to go, okay, we're way behind. We need 5 kills. Let's go squat. Oh, look, we got third party. I mean, they can be a little more, I guess, cautiously optimistic, I suppose, in their decision.
And they should be. They're one of the teams that has the longest running roster. They've been together for a year. Sure, they have a different name now, but at the end of the day, they've been playing together for a long time. They brought Froz in to coach them for this event. We all know Froz. He's very good at sort of analytics and helping people look forward. And one of the biggest changes they're trying to make is getting out of this looking back mentality and start thinking about what's the next game up. And starting strong makes it a lot easier.
There's one thing, and obviously this is coming from Froz, obviously coached my team, Y10 Fate, back in FaZe, won a Pro League last year. One thing that Froz does really well, he's like the 5th set of eyes. So actually identifying things that, maybe the team themselves are missing from, a tunnel vision perspective. And that's the way you need to look at these games. You need to look at where you can absolutely maximize efficiency, being proactive with moving with circles, stuff like that. I think that's the value Froz will bring to this team, and ultimately I think every team could use that.
It's funny to hear you say that, because that is exactly what, I'd asked Froz, what's your goal here? And he said to move them away from a mentality of how do we get the win to how do we get the next point? How do we put points on the board effectively throughout the entire match?
I suppose over 18 games, points are going to equal and add up. It's not necessarily, like we say, I mean, they've got, I say they, Exalt has 32 points on kills alone. If you had just sat by comfortably and got 1 kill a game, you would have 33, right? If you got 3 wins and 1 kill, and each have 33 kills.
Put it in perspective. Last game that we watched on Sandhawk, Navi got 3rd place with 3 kills. Liquid went out all the way down in 7th place with 12 kills. They finish on the leaderboard higher. And that means they don't have to fight through an uncomfortable final circle. They don't have to worry about dealing with sort of what's the next shift going to be. If you find the place to put the points on early, it's okay to go out in 7th. I know I shouldn't say that because, it's all about winning, but the reality is you win by putting numbers up when the deck is stacked against.
I think Sandhawk's a good map for that too, because you are going to catch people out early. The rotations are small enough and there's enough foliage. Third partying is everywhere on that map.
The reason I love watching Sandhawk is you can see the teams that say, okay, well, this is a rough circle. Let's find some kills. And they do that. And they will literally hold W towards any audio cue they have.
Well, Kat was standing by after game number 2 with our winners, Olmec, to hear what they had to say about it.
I'm joined on the floor now with Ival, right? Ival from Olmec Gaming of the EU region. First of all, congratulations on that win. Now talk to me about that second game, as both circles were on the south side. What was the difference maker and how you guys got that win?
I think we did a good rotation in the second circle when we sent it into the middle. And then we kind of knew it was a risky push or send it like we did, and then into the middle, and I think that won us the game.
No, I love the aggression, especially when we get to watch the games. Aggression is always the way a lot of us like to play. So looking into the next couple games, how are you going to take this momentum and hopefully keep it going forward?
I mean, we take 1 game at a time, and then we'll try to push ourselves to get as much points in any game. Like, PUBG, it's a bit of RNG sometimes. So, just adapt to every situation. Like, first game, we had 8 kills, but no placement points. And that was because we went for the points instead of going for the circle, So, because we already knew we were not going to make it into that circle. And then it's like, get the points.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and good luck on the rest of your games.
To competent team.
I feel I feel like that interview couldn't have been more well timed after everything you just said. Like they were like, circles out. We're not dealing with the hard shift. Get the kills.
Just for reference, we didn't actually see that before.
That was perfect.
I mean, this is a team that has a bright future ahead of them. Things have changed in sort of the PUBG environment. A lot of teams are questioning, okay, with the new system, can we support ourselves? Do we have to qualify for everything? This is a team that just announced all 4 of them are moving together to Oslo. They're getting a house. They're committed to the year.
Just the most expensive city ever.
That's what I'm saying. And so this mentality shows me that these guys not only came to play, but they really see themselves as the future of PUBG, and that kind of confidence only breeds performance.
So do we have Linksy right now signing Froz's jersey? Is he nodding? I don't know if he can even hear me right now.
No, definitely not.
I'm not sure what's going on there. Sure, it should be the other way around.
Fanboy. Well, maybe he's a humble guy. You want to sign my jersey?
Yeah, I mean, and if for those of you who may be living under a rock, that is Froz that we just talked about, the coach. Your past coach, the current coach of
was on the desk
these guys.
In season 2.
He knows the game inside and out, and having him here is going to be a big boon to a team like that. And I'm just curious to see what they continue doing as we go forward. Because remember, PUBG is a multi-round game, and the same philosophy, you talk to any boxer about how you win a bout, and they say it's one punch at a time, one step at a time, one round at a time. All that matters is the next move you make, and these teams have to keep that in mind.
I think the interesting point about going back to what you said about wanting to move into a house and seeing themselves as the future is that, again, the clean slate. There's no more leagues anymore. Sure, okay, they played in the pro leagues, and yes, but there's no more, I guess, preset mentality of you're in, we're in, we won, you're here. The pecking order's gone. That's gone. I don't care who shoot to kill. I'll give you that example. Coming into this top NA team, no question, didn't qualify for Berlin. Not the qualifier for Berlin, let alone Berlin itself. That says to me right there, I mean, anyone is up for the taking right now. And whoever gets a good run consistency of events in the first part of the year, it's theirs, absolutely. And then invites start to come back into it because then you get less time online for qualifications. These guys have been top 4 at every event. Invite them. Boom. Half your job's done.
And I think we're going to continue to see the proliferation of opens, and teams like, say, Oath is a great example of a team that has players who haven't gotten a lot of love over time. I think Wolf gets a pretty bad rap sometimes within the North American community or not a lot of love, but he's been performing very well. On the opposite of that, Oath is a team that got in through opens. We saw that little clip of "Don't disappoint me, son."
Oh, we're going to see that
be honest. So far, they have been very disappointing in the first 3 games. So there's an argument there to be made of if you're going to come in through the opens, you got to step up and you got to put some numbers on the board. And so far, Oath just hasn't done it.
I mean, earlier on, I said they're a team that needs to do well because if they continue on a downward trend, it's so difficult to recover from that anyway. And when you add that into lack of experience. Your mental can really start affecting a team from the inside.
The first game, I feel like they got caught out, and it was almost like they were sleeping on it. They weren't ready for how fast things were going to hit them at this level.
Well, we made the comparison of Singularity moving and Oath not moving, and that comes down to an experience thing.
But the second game, it was a bit of a cat and mouse battle. Obviously, Snakers was inside of the dumpster. We saw Creative Nade going over the roof trying to get him. He got into a 1-on-3 situation where it looked like he might actually give himself a chance. I think at that point that their fight decision was interesting, though, because they basically tried to bait him in.
Okay, so I will say this now. That is not the way that Oath would have played that out online. They would have not have had their backs against the wall there. They would have been the aggressors in that fight, regardless of who was on the other side of it. Could have been SDK, could have been FaZe, could have been Liquid. Regardless, whatever team that is online, Oath take control of that situation, and they just didn't.
Yeah, it seemed like with Snakers inside of the dumpster, they wanted to bait him in, but then he got stuck throwing utility defending himself, and that was it. Position given away. They isolated every single player.
I mean, I think the reality is that their best game was, you said they had a rough game 1, and that was the best performance that we saw on the day so far. I think if I don't miss my guess, they put up 7 points total today. Compare that to what we just talked about with our leader, Exalt, who's at least 50 or in that area. That's just not going to cut the mustard. And the real problem is they've got young players, an experienced player in the form of Shinboy, who needs to have that confidence boost right out of the gate. So I think they need to get together in the back. They need to powwow, not listen to us talk at the desk, and just come back in with a fresh slate.
The one thing is, any of those players pop off, that's when they build momentum.
100%.
And ultimately, they need to be making different decisions if they want to put Shinboy, Snakers, Rello in a position to pop off. They need to be making fundamentally different decisions.
We'll see if they can, because we're going to see if Dad will be disappointed or not. We got to take a break. We're done looking backwards. Miramar comes up next. That's where we get back to the nitty-gritty of PUBG. But first, let's see what Dad's got to say about Snakers' performance.
So you've been competing for how long in PUBG?
Pretty much since it started, which was over 2.5 years ago.
As a 15-year-old, you probably most likely have to be accompanied by your father. How has that relationship developed over the years? Has it brought you guys closer?
Yeah, so at first, like, I didn't make money playing PUBG for the first like year and a half. So it was more like, oh, why do you have to play at 7 every day? But I was like, oh, I have to play scrims. And he didn't really know why until I made GLL Season 2, which is where he actually watched it.
He spent a lot of time in his room, so I didn't really see him much. And but now that after coming to Sweden last time, and that's when I've actually first watched him play, and I've been watching him ever since. It's exciting to watch, and to see how much better he's got.
Do you have any advice for parents where their kids want to start playing video games and competing?
To me, it was always if he did well in school, if he got good grades, then I support him 100%. But yeah, I mean, I guess just knowing what they're doing and showing support, showing some interest, but not too much, because kids, they don't really like that. So just some support just to show that, hey, it's really great and good luck and things like that.
Yeah, a lot of it with that is just finding a good balance in between like schoolwork and like gaming and all that. Like, you can't over support one thing if like a kid has his passions in like different places.
With the 2-year difference since he's been competing, can you let us know how he's changed or evolved in any way?
Yes, he's definitely matured a lot. It's only 2 years, but 15 to 17, he's almost 18 now. Has matured, and now he doesn't, basically he just leaves me, goes with his friends and whatnot, but now that I actually watch the game and I see how it's played, we could connect and we could talk about it, some strategy and things like that, so I'm a little more connected to him and the game, so that's the biggest difference than last time. And it's, I'm proud of him that he handles himself really well, so.
Yeah, and after playing for a while, I definitely learned how important it is to have like chemistry and whatever you're doing. Like, even in like a work environment, like you have to be like comfortable with what you're doing with people, or like you just want to have success in any area of life.
That's how I think he's matured the most, is knowing that you're part of a team.
Yeah.
I think last time it was a little more like individual, like, oh, I do this, I do that. But now, like, just hearing him say that, he's definitely much more team-oriented.
Do you think it's important for parents to be here and to be as supportive? Like, do you think it's easier for you to play because your father is receptive?
Yeah, definitely. Like, the first time we were here, that was the first time he's ever, like, watched me play. Like, he had no reason to watch before that, and it just made him realize, like, oh, I need to support this. Like oh my God, he's playing on, like, the big screen and all that. So it definitely opened his eyes to that.
It's incredible to see a parent, not just because he's 17, but out here supporting his kid, and I love that for not only the scene, but for every hopeful kid in the community wanting to play. Remember, don't give up. Don't give up. Remember, don't give
It's great to see. I always love hearing these stories. I think we've all got one of how our parents even learned what I did as a caster, let alone a player, and they're sort of awakening to esports. I think that's really cool to have a parent.
I also want to give a shout out to GLL for building that little playroom for all the young players here to hang out.
Just to clarify, they did actually set that entire room up. There wasn't an
There's a snake in there, 4 snakers. I was surprised it wasn't featured more.
But I mean, and that's the reality, though. I think the parents have been stepping up. I mean, I remember when Vegas was underage and his dad came out with him, and literally there was no better PR man in history than his dad was walking around shaking hands, being like, my son's Vegas, let me tell you about why he's awesome. And I would argue it actually helped him get a little bit of extra press out there. And so to see parents really involving themselves is a big deal. And as a parent myself, I got a 5-year-old and 2-year-old, to sort of see the future of esports and sort of that growth potential is very exciting.
What as a father, what's your opinion on, because I get the people, on planes, you sit beside someone, oh, what do you do? You're going to Sweden for work. Tell me what, and then they ask, well, like if you had a kid, would you let them, What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I mean,
where's the balance on that?
It's come up, and honestly, like one of my side gigs is I talk to school districts sometimes about esports and to parents who just don't know, like, my kid likes video games, what do I do? And talking to them about parents' responsibility to sort of be the coaches. Like when you enroll in football, there's a coach teaches you how to tackle and what gear to use and how to stay safe. We don't really have that in esports, so it's a parent's responsibility to sort of get involved to say, what do you need to do your job well? How do I keep you safe? Do you need a good keyboard? Do you need a good desk? We don't want you to end up like Fear from Dota, who played on a TV tray and ended up with carpal tunnel early on. We want to help your kids be successful, but also set boundaries. Like, admittedly, I'm a big guy, but I wish that somebody had told me when I started, hey, get up. You need to do some workouts inside of your gaming time. You need to eat the right foods and take care of yourself. I think that's, as a parent, what you can do to really help sort of take your son or your daughter to that next step.
Are you gonna be a kids guy? A dad someday? You have plans
it's a big question moment here.
You really going to put me on the spot?
I was going to lead with that. No, you don't have to answer. The point is, do you agree? Where's the balance? Because I think there's still, for me, I'll give you my answer. I think all of that's true, but I think there's still an element of, be involved in face-to-face activities.
Definitely. I don't think a parent needs to be actively interested in video games. It's more about the mental coaching, because as we know, obviously from, again, certainly from my experience, things I learned about myself in terms of how my own mental affects my performance and competing and stuff like that. That's stuff that nobody on the internet's going to teach you.
Yeah.
Your first experience is coming online. It can be a very toxic environment.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to sit back and go, do you know what, actually being this negative isn't going to help you in the long run. So it's the important stuff like
also, can I just say, you're out there and your parents, they don't get it, man. Like, don't be a-holes to them when they say get off. Like, they don't understand why you need to be at a scrim or you need to finish playing a match. And sometimes just explaining that and sitting down and saying, hey, we can come together on this goes a long way. And that's the biggest thing I talk to both parties is, hey, you just have to communicate. Open-mindedness on both sides goes a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want, you can adopt me, Hypoc. I mean, we could.
You'd be adorable. You'd be an adorable family.
I thought you were going to offer me out. If anybody watching wants any kids, Hypoc's looking.
That too. I didn't think of that. That is next level. We are now a matching service. I said Miramar was coming up. My mistake. I'm allowed a few of those. It's Erangel coming up, and I did say classic. That should have been your first clue, because it will be the classic Erangel that we go to. And with that, we need to take a quick break. This time we'll catch our breath and get ready to talk about the last 3 matches of the day and how fast they're going to come at us. We'll see you then.
Don't just watch PUBG, compete as well. Competitive ELO and ranking system. Climb the ladder. Start your path to pro. Head over to play.gll.gg. The best PUBG platform.
Welcome back to the Daily Halftime Show. We continue forward onto Erangel, and Toffees and Hypoc will help break it down. I'm having coffee with Toffee. I don't actually have a coffee on the... I wish I did.
If only. Maybe tomorrow.
Apparently, he's the coffee man, so I'm going to have to get you to order me one tomorrow.
Get coffee, man.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, I can pay for it if you want. You seem like hesitant.
You pay for pizza today, so I can't make you pay for the coffee tomorrow.
That's fair. See? Yeah. Look at this. Giving, sharing. Yeah, I like this.
Back to talking about relationships in a weird way.
This is why Toffees is in the middle. Okay? This is the reason this setup exists. Erangel boys. That sounded slightly sexual as well.
Yeah.
Erangel. I don't want to Erangel or arouse any more emotions from you, but where are we going with this?
I'm going to wrangle this back on the track. Okay, so here's the deal. Halftime is almost over. The players, dinner break right now. They're getting re-energized, both sort of in theory and in food context. They're ready to go. We're getting close to that. I mean, I know for the halftime show, everybody probably wanted like an Ariana Grande performance or something, and you're stuck with me and you guys. But Erangel's exciting. This is one of the last times we're going to see classic Erangel played in a tournament, so let's enjoy this while we still can.
I'll stick my hand up and say good for that. I think you need to get back to some sort of similarity between the pub and the...
I'm so excited to see like Erangel 2.0 brought into competitive. Just, a couple of small minor changes, but it should like make, end games in those areas.
I mean, it's mostly textures, and yes, there's the few military outside of
Bridges
prison,
and
for
stuff added and
example.
stuff
Yeah,
like that, yep.
yeah. I think those make a difference for cover late games, but I just think it's important to keep it very similar to what people are used to seeing at home.
And the military changes, I think, were borderline monumental in a lot of ways. Like, those military circles have totally changed.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're seeing here. This is our last chance to sort of enjoy what has always been a staple.
Map.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
home
this
map.
is our first love. Those of us, most of us got started at the very beginning. Erangel was everything and still kind of is for a lot of us. And this is also the players. If you ask any of them, where's your favorite map? Almost to a person, they say, I just love playing Erangel. So teams that have struggled to start are going to have a chance to sort of start fresh on a map that they know intimately and can maybe get back up on their feet on this one.
I'm going to bring up a talking point that we discussed this morning and we actually caught wind of this morning. Oath has brought in 2 other players that normally they wouldn't have because the age restrictions. You've got Shinboy and Snakers here. They want to challenge Mill to power. And interestingly, I thought FaZe would go, whatever, children. Apparently, they don't want to. They want to just bail on it early. Yeah. In fact, there's George Poole being floated around as an idea for them. And I get it, because it's kind of the mentality of those guys have far less to lose than we do, so why bother?
This is the thing now, and actually, if we'd have expanded on this slightly before, Oath, if they'd have had a good first 3 games, I could have fully seen them committing to Mill Power and just saying, look, we're going to ego chow this. We've got the confidence now. First 3 games have gone really well for us because online, they've just been forcing the issue, trading back and forth, and it's Rumblers actually they're contesting NA. Again, worlds apart to do that here on a LAN stage, but having 3 bad games now potentially could put them in as actually we need to be conscious of points, we need to be making safer plays and put ourselves in a position where we're not risking a straight up RNG fight and forcing the issue at Mill to Power.
I would be, I suppose, shocked and appalled if they put so much confidence into it and the saying even very outright that they're going to take it, and then imagine that they don't, and FaZe goes, well, we are. But imagine
they've said it publicly. Yeah, they've said it publicly. We're going to go Mill to Power. So now, to be in a position where it's like, well, do we lose face or do we worry about points?
Here's the other thing to consider as well, seeing how well Exalt are performing. They're in Mill to town.
They are, yeah.
Mill to proper. So it's not even like FaZe can go nearby, or if anyone gets pushed out, there's a team ready to capitalize.
This is the interesting thing as well. If they go in, half-assed and go 50-50 on the hot drop, and FaZe, prioritize north side, which, again, easier to rotate out if you haven't got to come south of Lumberyard towards Milta, and that forces Oath into playing the gas station, the Prior compound, Monkey. Obviously Exalt are going to be there lurking.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a leaderboard, and we would have shown it to you sooner, but it's just been put together to make sure it's 100% correct. Lots of maths to be done. This is how things look on paper right now. 50 points. You called it, Hypoc. That is dead on, and they are, oh my goodness, that's a ridiculous gap. I can't even do the math. That's 21 points ahead of Wildcard.
Stupid.
They almost have double the amount of points of anyone in 3 games.
Interesting enough, about 30 seconds ago, Wooly walked past and I asked him how he was doing. He just went, not so great. And I said, well, if you're in second place when you feel like you've not done so great in the first 3 games, that's a fantastic place to be in. And actually, Wildcard, again, another one that, missed out on PGS quals.
Well,
they're in second place.
That's what I was going to say. They're in second place. We didn't even mention their name talking about the first 3 maps, and they're still there. I mean, Kickstart was involved in a few fights that were a little bit unfortunate.
I mean, it was actually Kickstart that came down to 2 1v1s in the first 3 games. It was in Game 1 versus Singularity, and Game 3 actually in Sandhawk, where it came down to a 1v1 with Kickstart and somebody else from another team. And actually, Wildcard's a team you could talk a lot about. Again, it's another Wooly roster, so we're expecting, we've talked about it a number of times, the honeymoon effect with Wooly, but actually, to come here and on the first day being sat in second place after 3 games.
So as you look at this thing real quick, we got Wildcard in second, Exalt on first. The fact that Exalt has put up so many points early, though, is good news for everybody else in a lot of ways. Everything from 3 down is still relatively wide open to one major win or a big game. I think that's how the other teams need to look at it as they go forward here. Also, shout out to Singularity and Red Canids. I think Kat brought up during her interview, South America is often sort of a team left in the dark or looked down upon. They've got 2 teams on the left side of that leaderboard.
Red Canids, by the way, 0 placement points. The only other team in that bracket is FaZe. FaZe have yet to make it into the top 8, and on top of that, they're being out-fragged by Red Canids. So shout out to them in that regard. I mean, if you have no placement points, but you're out-fragging a team like FaZe, it says something about your composure at least.
It's good news for them. The bad news for them is that we're going to Erangel, and FaZe is not only known for playing very well there, they're known for recovering from bad starts, and I genuinely think they go to Georgia Pole. I think they're in a position, the only team near them is Metagaming, which I don't want to be mean here, but that's
New team,
potentially some
essentially.
points for FaZe if they choose to get aggressive against them. And it gives them a massive control factor on the map. There's no CIS teams north of them blocking those rotations for north circles.
And this is what I was going to say, the rotations, because you and I talked about this earlier. Everest is sort of a wall.
Yep.
That is what Trump has been trying to build. You can't necessarily go south of that easily. So the fact that there's no one north means that they can go to a place they aren't as familiar with and still have some movement on the map.
I mean, basically, let's say they move to Georgia Pole. If the circle goes anywhere to the north, they get to hold cube and all transitions. If it goes to the south, they push into Metagaming, who's going to be looting very spread. And they're good, but their individual skill, considering the fact they're even missing one player who's stuck at an airport right now, they're underwhelming, and FaZe is going to be able to pressure them aggressively. That gives them almost 28, 30% of the map that FaZe can choose to control if they get the circles. And that is something that has to be worrying everybody else if FaZe chooses to go to Georgia Pole.
Yeah, and I mean, having early game space and no pressure like that allows you to put yourself in a position where you say, look, let's set up here.
Yep.
We know that we're not going to have any pressure if we come all the way down off Everest, set up at Cube Bridge, things like that. It gives you time, it gives you space, and ultimately that's the way you're going to pick up 3 points is by setting up these bridge camps, ratty plays, stuff like that.
Yeah, it works. It's efficient.
No one's in Primorsk. Navi's their closest threat going south. They can take any boat they want to military. They don't have to worry about that rotation. So the entire side of the map is open. And I think teams on the other side, those working on the east side of the map, need to reconsider some options because it is very congested over there.
And we're looking at a map of speculation in some ways. There's obviously roster changes. There might be some changes in mentality. Obviously, there's been qualifiers and scrims that this is being based off. So it's not just a shot in the dark or a guess. But I am surprised how much George, certainly.
Yep.
Tons of space on the west, but then there's also the military island.
Yeah.
One team taking that entire island right now.
That's because it sucks to drop there. I mean, I'll be honest. I've hated it since the beginning of time.
Fair, but I've always thought in a situation, Novo's not necessarily out of contention for some people.
I mean, but the problem is with Novo. I mean, so here's the deal. We've had teams drop in military over the course of time, right? We had Knights go there. Where are they now? We had, I think, Vitality ended up going there for a while. Where are they now?
I think, actually, just stop you there. I don't think we've ever had
a
consistent team come out of the Sosnovka drop. I'm thinking now, I don't think we've ever had a team win a major event or anything that's had the military drop on Erangel. But again, just to loop back on that, it puts yourself in a position where Na'Vi, for example, if they're desperate for points, we set up on the West Bridge and we wait for you.
Was M19 not dropping there in Season 2?
I don't believe they were, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at that. They might have hit
the
Novo
reality
once
is,
or twice,
for Exodus, they've added some boat spawns on the south side, some hard esports spawns that make it a little less terrifying to sort of drop there. The problem with Novo is that it's just everyone knows that you're there. They see it from the other side of the map. It's very easy for Exalt to sort of set up traps. South American teams in particular love holding that south road and just wrecking anybody who tries to make the cross. That's a test. Another one for me is you brought up Red Cannons earlier. These guys are the best in their region, but they're not the best internationally. So normally they loot things like Pachinki, and they're going to be doing south of Pachinki because they don't want to have to fight Liquid for it. That means they're working in an unusual drop spot.
They're working off the back foot immediately,
I mean, we talk about loot efficacy, your ability to sort of get quickly looted and effectively rotated, and they're working in an unfamiliar area. So that's going to slow down some of these teams that are being pushed off their normal.
And that's kind of why I brought up George Poole and Everest, because if FaZe do get challenged, if, let's say someone decides to go Zarki, who's pushed out of Pachinki, or Primorsk becomes more of a factor, they don't get that entire coastal rotation. They are a team that, okay, look, it's FaZe. They've got some skill. Let's be honest. But you're still out of your comfort zone. Your timings could be slightly off. You don't know the habits of the people that are around you. There's reads. There's
actually, to add on to that, if you make an audible drop and say, we're going to go North George this time, there could be another team that says, this plane sucks, we're going to go Zarki this time. And you end up with 3 teams that are kind of in this weird audible drop spot where they end up, it's like, okay, well, where can we set up to pressure this? We don't know the terrain. We don't know spots to set up.
I think for me, the places to watch in this sort of first match, South Line Road that goes from sort of Pachinki to Farm, it could be very heavily contested. We see that happen a lot. There's 3 teams looking to loot that area. Inside and Atletico have both laid claim to sort of the mansion area, so I'm curious to see who comes out on top over there. And then, of course, WTSG does a loot that I absolutely despise. I don't know how it'll work for them. There has been another esports spawn for a car added in that area that makes it a little more functional, but they're doing sort of ruins, sunken, package compound and spreading out. And while that could work, it often puts teams at a huge disadvantage for those rotations.
I think if there's a northwest circle, yeah, you're very spread out, and all those cars are going to be going straight by to hit those bridges and get across the river. We'll get back to that because the north part of the map I want to talk about as well. Severny. There's only one team north of that river, but first we've got to go to Catch. He's on the floor and actually, fittingly enough, talking with FaZe. So maybe we'll get some answers as to what their mentality is with George Poole, or maybe they're going to stick it at Milta.
Welcome to the floor, where the players are getting down and dirty into the games. I'm here with Gustav of FaZe Gaming. Now, you guys have had a couple of rough matches sitting down at the bottom of the leaderboard. What are you guys going to do the next couple of games on Erangel to turn things around for you guys?
I mean, I would say we're better on Erangel than we are on the other maps, but I think we just have to play more as a team these next games. We've kind of been like not playing as a team the first couple of games, but also, yeah. The second Miramar was, no, the first Miramar was actually alright. We got a bunch of kills, but besides from that, the other games were not too good.
So in terms of not playing as a team, is that a communication issue? Or is it something else that's just strategy or just being on an international stage?
I would say we're used to being on an international stage, but we're kind of a new team. I would still say we're getting like, trying to get used to each other. It's been a long break, but I'm sure we're going to catch up.
We're really looking forward to that because a lot of people are FaZe fans. Now, are you guys going to do the classic FaZe strategies that you guys typically do on Erangel, or are you guys going to mix it up?
I think we're just going to stick to the usual. We're usually pretty good on this map, so I'm confident that we're going to come back today.
Well, thank you so much for that interview, and good luck in your next couple of games. Boys at the desk, take it away.
I feel like that's still open-ended. The usual, does that mean usual mentality, or does that mean they're going Milta?
I think I have a hard time seeing them wanting to take that early fight right now, even though Oath has been struggling. I just don't think it's worth it. And like we said, looking at the map, it's just so wide open.
I would sooner... This is me getting into sort of where my brain goes, and God knows where it goes sometimes. Yeah. But the point is, I would rather see them take the chance of going somewhere else day one, not taking the fight, less to lose, getting points. See, you disagree? See, I think as if it doesn't work out, you go back to what works, you take the fight. But if you take the fight early and you pay the price for it, then you have to change. If that also doesn't work, I mean, I'm
all about mental. If FaZe force the issue there and they push the team away, immediately it's do you know what I mean? It's flex out. Yep. It's flex out. You know, we feel good about that, and ultimately it puts them in a completely different mindset, and we haven't seen a confident FaZe in the first 3 games other than the high kill
Here's the thing about that drop, though. That's been their drop since G-Core. Only one member on that team still exists from when they started dropping at Milta Power. So the question is Fuzz going, hey man, this was never my favorite place anyway, now it's time to make a change? I think that's also a possibility.
Well, I did want to get to one other point. Shoot to Kill is the only team north of the river.
Yep.
You mentioned it. They left as Naya because Olmec's there. That's going to be something to watch. We can talk more about that perhaps afterwards. We're going to get into this. This is ready. Our casters are slightly demanding, and I don't want them to get Avenger toward me. That was horrible, but that's who's going to be bringing you these next 3 games. I'm allowed to be poor on day 1. You guys aren't. Nail it, guys.
Thank you very much, Matt. So, here we go. Amazing. I wasn't sure. I'm gonna knock my volume up in a minute because I'm a bit of a deaf old man these days, Martin.
Yeah, it comes down to that when you play games your whole life.
I gotta be honest. When this camera comes on us, I'm not sure about this height difference with standing. I feel like Kalaris normally has a box with you guys. I feel like I might need one. You big Wookie.
No, it's okay. I think that's why we're not gonna be on camera for all 3 games because with the height difference is too much. No, jokes aside, I'm excited to get these 3 last games of today going. We do have obviously 3 Erangel games coming up now, and the games have been very exciting, very unexpected. We have some of the teams down towards the bottom that we expected to be further up. We just saw an interview with FaZe, and honestly, it's kind of surprising to see them down there. As he said himself, they are kind of a new team. Gustav has to get used to not being in the IGL and completely controlling the macro and everything, coming under FaZe's kind of command, and being more used to maybe co-IGLing and just giving information so the decision can be made from there.
I came here, we came for yesterday to have rehearsals, etc. And I was sat on the coach with FaZe, and he was saying that it's going to be a really strange event because there's so many new teams. Yeah. Nobody really knows who's going to turn up, who's going to have the big day. At the moment, Exalt are having that big day. A perfect start, but you don't win tournaments in 3 games. It's an 18-game sprint, a marathon effectively, and you know what? While you can have great starts, we've seen Team Liquid in the past having these mega starts and then everybody claws it back in, and it can be dangerous sometimes to have that massive start. You kind of get ahead of yourself. Look at Atletico. Atletico in GLL Grand Slam. Mega performance. At the end of the day, FaZe Clan reeled them in and won on the last game. You know, a lot can happen. There are so many games to play still.
I had the pleasure of talking to some of the Exalt guys. Obviously, I know Shiv and Monkey, and Monkey came over to me smiling, giving me a hug, like, yeah, it's going great. We're just having fun. It's just this positive attitude and mentality, and they have no pressure on their shoulders. They're their own now. They don't have to worry. So they're just going to be playing their game like they can, and I'm excited to see them continue this because this lead, 50 points, 21 points ahead, is massive. The number 2, as the guys talked about on desk, I'm excited to see what's going to happen in Milta Power. Are we going to see FaZe there? Are we going to see them fight Oath? Oath is far behind right now. They had some bad games, so let's see what's going to happen with that.
See something changing. I don't know. I'm seeing the plane about to leave, and it is a decent playing path for everyone involved. Pretty much down the center. Nothing to worry about. Everybody should be able to reach their final drop destinations. Maybe a long drop for FaZe, so we probably see them go in Sosnovka, but outside of that, I think everybody will revert to their natural positions. Oath changing. They were in Georgia Ball South last time. They're going up to Stauber Kameshki.
Yeah, they didn't want to commit to going in a long drop towards Georgia Ball, so being able to flex over here and go in another position like that is obviously a good thing to be able to do, but they probably haven't prepared as well. Like the teams that are around them, they don't know them as well. They don't know how early they're going.
So early conflict possibilities is Atletico and Inside Games. Inside Games coming into this one pretty late. Remember, obviously, they were a 9th place qualifier, so they got called in due to after Alt not being able to make it to visas. And it does mean that obviously Atletico, who normally will go mansion, prison sort of area, they're all going to be fighting for the same territory. At the moment, they're dropping for vehicles, and we'll see where they traverse over. As we mentioned earlier on, FaZe will go down onto Sosnovka. It's a long drop for Milta. They're never favorable to that long drop. They always used to get caught off by teams that were around farm, like G2 that used to be there. Obviously, Exalt in Milta, formerly the Vitality guys. But the circle will pull over to familiar territory. However, Martin, we've had this circle pull over this way, and it has pulled north a couple of times recently.
Which I love that, because it's a different change. We're obviously going to see more when we get into Circle 2, but this 50-50 circle really talks to, like, we need to see these guys prepare. So the southern teams, they're going to stay, obviously, in the south. We're going to see the eastern teams make a decision. Are we going to go north? Are we going to go south? How was the plane path, and where's kind of the easiest entrance to them? Oath right now, they must be pulling hairs out. They could probably have done a decent long drop, maybe only get 1 or 2 cars to go towards George Bowl, but they saw nobody won early and decided to go up towards Stabler. So that's decent for them. Talking about Inside Games, though, they actually get into a decent spot. They managed to take away Mansion, some of the compounds further east as well between Lipovka. So they're taking a lot of space away from Atletico. But as you see, Atletico actually decided to drop on backflip, and they get a lot of space from that. So they are in an advantageous position, I would say.
So Omakan, Yasnaya to themselves. They are currently doing very well. They picked up a win on game 2. Let's hear what they've got to say.
I think the strength of our team is that everyone is doing choices for the team. Everyone is included in doing the calls and helping out, doing everything, and that's why we're very fluently, and everyone is always helping each other to become better. We're the best team because we play off each other. We know when to fight, we know when to take the right decisions, and that will make us do the best in the long run. Which team we're looking forward to wiping? Everyone. It's like, I don't care which team it is. If you're in my way, I'm gonna get you.
And it was Exodus that were in their way previously, that they did wipe out on the map. It's a team that have been pressuring them in a bunch of scrims. But Omakan, honestly, had a really good start. As you can see, they're in 3rd place, 28 points. I did get to speak to Ival in the break as well, and he was saying it's going okay. They're not feeling 100% confident yet, but it's starting to go okay. It's interesting, obviously, that he mentions the fact they have changed to this everybody kind of calls, because Ivor used to be the IGL, right? And they kind of relinquished that to everybody. And I would say pretty much all the teams now do that. They kind of, because
they have to.
It's information overload, effectively.
Exactly.
Right?
So, like, especially when you're in third, fourth phase, there will be information that is only available to one player that he needs to be able to make a call based off. He needs to be able to see, you know, this compound is free, or something else that needs to be called just because this information could only be available to one player. Again, Olmec changed. Recently, they were struck the number before, and before that, they were in 47. The newest team that did the best in PL Phase 3. So, like some of the predictions we're seeing from the community, they have a lot. I think about 50% of the community is looking for a top 4 for Olmec.
The race is on right now to get to Cube. Cube, if you're unsure what it is the compound just over the river from where Xiong is right now, and I can see Harold is slowly moving towards it, Singularity. Very strong position, obviously, A, pretty central with the circle. B, you're going to get control of that bridge. Very strong position. We'll see who gets there first. You can see Omakan also racing for it. They're going to try and get ahead of Singularity. Welcome to South Georgia, already coming over the bridge. Somebody's got to back out of this race. This is not going to work out for 3 teams. Omakan have realized there's somebody there. They have hit a tree or a rock, I'm not too sure, but instead they are going to pull out of it, and it's welcome to South Georgia to get there first.
Oh my god, Senya camping phase here potentially, but they're pulling up. They don't care. They're going to stop. They're going to drive into him as well. Oh my god.
Try to disorient him. It works well. That was a nice play. FaZe with the ram, spins Senya, disorients him. In comes 8C, takes him down. The old foes, Na'Vi and FaZe Clan. They were forever fighting throughout the year of 2019 in the PEL, and here once again, Na'Vi, who qualified in 10th place, were not expected to be here, do lose a man early on.
Maybe see to net energy. Alia is going to nade towards the red candidates. Also a fight for position early on. This is a decent position to kind of scout from and move on further. We will see red candidates. They're going to have 2 guys stay, and the other guys are going to try to reposition and maybe get a better position, or potentially try to gatekeep to their energy. It's far in the south here, so let's see what's going to happen with them.
Look at that split for welcome to South George. This is really nice. It's very ballsy. Like they know that they got to Cube first, and they know that everybody avoided it, which kind of works for them, right? So now they've only got the 2 at Cube, and they've got the 2 down south at the yellow houses, or they're not so yellow anymore, these things. They've changed color these days. But on Erangel Classic, I believe they still remain yellow on this patch version. It is Vanda Miraku that are down there. That's the houses I was talking about. Looks like Ibi is in them. So they are just going to stick around on the mound. Risky play, but could work out.
But this position here for them as well, if it goes south, being in the ruin side, you'll have a lot of space. You'll be able to kind of flex around. You can cross the road on the north, or you can go around on the south side, kind of avoid these. Also, if it goes to the mountain, which we've seen a few times, we've seen some endings up on the mountain, and they are also able to cross the road pretty easily if they decide to. But they're repositioning and might be going towards Xiong and Iroh.
FaZe are on a far western road. This is looking like Alo moving in this. Luke's managed to get the knock on Ivor. Looking to try and get another one. Ivor is in trouble. I think he's going to go. Alo should be able to flush this one with a nade. He's going to go for the left-hand side. He will bleed out. Looks like he's going to be left. T-Bone going to try and return with a couple of nades himself, but shoots a kill, catching them a little off guard here. That nade catching half a T-Bone. Elo on the flank, sees him down low. Should be able to finish T-Bone off, and this is not the start that Omakan were looking for.
It's an unfortunate start from Omakan. T-Bone's probably going to get flushed as well. Vasco and Page are taking fire. Shoot to kills. They're looking to come back into this. They have 11 points so far in 3 games, and just taking these 2 down. Kodak is going to find Vasco.
I was about to say they're running downhill. Obviously, they've already forced Singularity away, and Singularity open, easing stuff. This is going to be a 16th place. There's nothing they can do about this one. Kodak is kind of in the open here. There's 1 man remaining for Omakan.
Kodak, also another superstar from LATAM. Luke, though, he spotted Relo. Luke has to peek his advantage here. Relo has to pull to work with. They're betting on it's being north here. They're 100% committing to this is going to go north. Oath is even trying to fight this. They're staying up there. They're not preparing to go south. Sneakers, one of the young superstars as well from North America. Oh my god.
Going straight into Luke, the Aussie. Takes him down. I mean, he pulled up pretty late. I don't think he was aware that anyone was in there. He was trying to force them. Knew there was obviously shooting ahead of them. So looking to try and get around him, but Luke holding that back line will catch them off guard. That's going to be Page going down. It's K-Mine that picks up the kill. What? K-Mind. So that's come from the mountains.
Yeah.
So that's come from the mountains. That was a shot from the mountains.
Oh, and it's going to go far north, already in second circle.
So we've seen this a lot, right?
Yeah,
this is great for FaZe. I was talking about them going west side. They're going to go west bridge, but now the race is on. Where do you head for? Singularity hold that central compound. Everybody else is going to try and dash and get around them.
It's 6 teams, 7 teams that are far south that has to get somewhere into the north here. Oath is repositioning already. They're going for the plane crash. We see Exalted in the east. How far are they going to go? They're going to go all the way up north and try to get on the northwestern side, which obviously will be very free because nobody dropped there. Let's see here, Kickstart and Wildcard though. Fighting Atletico early on. Trying to take more position.
Ooh, that's risky. That's forced Atletico to go back to shooting range. Kickstart trying to pop one of those shots off. They have inside games coming in to their east as well as Exalt. They're looking to wrap around Severny way. Back in the central sort of area. Singularity holding prime territory, but Team Liquid want a slice of it. They come to the edge of Georgie Pol to try and work their way in. They will come down from the mountains. Welcome to South George. Looks like they're going to stay at Cube. They've repositioned and gone to Cube. That's safe for now. FaZe, they've moved across West Bridge, and they are gate camping, I think, on that West Bridge. They know that there are teams down there. They've seen Na'Vi. They also have Meta. They're all going to be pushing on that Western Bridge and thinking it's safe, but FaZe going to have the net set.
Yeah, it could be very unfortunate for Na'Vi. Potentially Meta. They could be fighting as well. On the eastern side, though, Exodus and Tornado Energy, they could potentially be fighting. They're close to each other. Pat Caps here.
Oh, this could be a quick big double. Can't get either. How in the world? Compot pops out the window on a slowest drive-by you've ever seen, and Pat Caps goes down. Wow, easy example. Steady on the driving.
Zamble's going to try to reposition as well. You know that potentially teammates could be close. Vegas is under the bridge. More shots are coming out as well from Balefrost. Exodus trying to take some fire. Oh, connecting just a little bit. Vegas could potentially make something happen here if Zamble exposes himself. FaZe though, look at that. That's one. That's Ego in. Out. Meta is going on the eastern side. They only managed to catch a one though. Na'Vi could potentially be going for both though instead. But they managed to catch one kill.
Na'Vi going all the way over the west. So they've seen this happen. And they're saying, screw that, we're going for a boat. We're going to go out in the blue. It is only phase 2. It's something they did in the qualifying, the regional qualifiers. But look over on the eastern side. Obviously, Exodus, we already saw them clashing with Tornado Energy. Red Canids hearing this and thinking, oh my god, we need to divert. But there are 2 members of Exodus there. Balefrost and his teammate, Stat on the bridge, covering, trying to get Red Canids off. Raspu already coming up. They're going to have to divert. Looks like they may even ditch it for the water. I'm not too sure. Balefrost, Balefrost in the open. This is risky play. Goes for it, but he makes it work. Sticks the kill and will take him down before the rest of the Canids can get in there. Rusty Zero is the only one that made it over. Kill Demo and Andy is still the other side.
They're pulling up.
One, I should say.
Yeah, and they're actually pulling up here. It looks like Rusty Zero is going to try to wipe the rest of Exodus here. This is going to be rough. This is a fight in phase 2. It's still less than 1 damage per second. More shots are coming out from Rusty. He's going to be able to connect a few maybe, or is he going to be able to get there? Oh, Balefrost is going to find him. He stood still for too long. You don't want to do that against Balefrost. He's going to absolutely punish that really quickly early on. This could be very rough for these guys. They know that there's the car that went over there. They heard that, but they don't know how many. There could be more camming. This could be a blue fight that's going to completely hurt them for later.
Exalt, look at this. I like it. Odir going for that scouting before, trying to pick a spot, trying to find an area, but instead they're going to stick with that ridge line, the old NIP ridge line effectively on the edge of shooting range. Tornado Energy are going to come up close to it. There is a little shack down there that may go over the road towards. Example pushing very close to them. Still the battle carries on down south, but here's Exalt looking to try and get Example. They are the leading team right now in this tournament. Atletico from shooting range getting a couple of shots on Nailip as he shows himself a little boldly. Over on the map, FaZe, they're going for a big wrap around the west into the north side. Going to come in very close to Inside Gaming. Probably going to scout it first. Team Liquid, they're also going for a wrap around. Singularity back over to the bridge down on the east. And Vegas takes down and one. Kill Demo's bleeding out as well in the blue. This fight continuing, but Exodus, they need all the points they can get. And at the moment, kills is where they want them.
Vegas trying to maybe do something here. Oh, Bossface Inside Games. It's going to take him down. It's going to finish him off early.
Shots from the ridgeline, though. Odstrolevac's moving up. Pixel gets down by Uber. That was a big kill. Free kill coming round. He wants to get a piece of it. Odstrolevac down at the hillside. He does have a clean angle on Uber if he can find it, but he's going to have to stay prone behind the vehicle at the moment as this all plays out on the northwestern edge of the circle. Wooly and co also taking a little bit of an angle on this. The wildcard boys want to see if they can get involved. They hear the shots in the distance, but at the moment they can't get any third party.
FaZe Clan managed to finish this up early. They're actually going to have a decent position trying to get into the further the circle. James is going to take down Shinboy on the other side of the map, though. Odstrolevak is going to be taken down to nothing. 5 HP.
Team Liquid are making a push on the crash site. That's what's happened, and there we go. Straight to it. Shinboy, love you, observers. Absolutely love you boys back there doing some absolute brilliant work. Mexi looks like he's going to get the revive back. Here comes Welcome to South George. That grenade from Samty, a.k.a. Sean, could be huge. Where did it go? Doesn't matter. Finds the headshot on Mexi and says, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the crash site. It's a 3-team mixer.
It's going to be rough for these guys. Oath is caught in the middle of it. They're in the roughest spot. Relo's going to be taken down as well. Xiong is going to finish off Mexi. Relo's going to be finished up by Iroh. This is a WTSG win right here. So much for them.
They are getting a little bit of third party. I think it's Meta shooting them from a long way off here. Welcome to South George, but it's working out well. Taking a fight from both angles, catching them just as they engaged each other has worked out so well. Welcome to South George. Team Liquid, they are going to keep 3 back on their feet. Oath are down to just Wolf, I believe. Meanwhile, Inside Games, they are done. They are in all sorts of trouble. Pixel's the last man standing for them as we lose Balefrost as well, picking their kills off on Exalt. So they came out of the blue, which may well have surprised Exalt how late they came.
Yeah, the circle's closing just now. It's going to go from 1 damage per second to 3 now. So this is going to be rough. Killdimmer might not even be able to make it in, or is he? It's going to be very close. Exodus as well, going to be taking a lot of damage here. Ship is going to find both of them, though. And they're going to be gatekeeping these guys. They see points, and they're hungry.
This is all playing out great for Shoot to Kill. They have a perfect spot. Really nice compound that you can see they're in at the moment where Uncivil and Luke are. Now remember, they do start out in the north side, so they have managed to work out. Purdy, Cuddy, and Patcaps down the south side, they're covering. They have, I would say, 30% of the current circle covered off. They have such good vision. They've got to be careful. Welcome to South George coming, but that's a big hill position. They're not going to have really clear vision of one another, so it's not going to affect them too much. But they are watching this battle between Exodus and Exalt happen in the distance.
Yeah, and this move free from Purdy, Curdy, and Alo, they're going to be holding the south. They're going to be gatekeeping, making sure nobody can come up behind them, so they can focus on taking control of the south and then pushing in here. Welcome Sarge is also looking very good. Tornado Energy fighting still with Atletico. Not much have been happening. They've been fighting for a long time, and they've been kind of repositioning their chess pieces here.
Out in the western side, FaZe Clan are in vehicles on the move. They're going to possibly push through Singularity as they move in. There are about 5 teams out this way. Here's Kodak Kid. Oh no, he's going to go for the reload. That's the worst possible timing. And FaZe Clan actually able to get out of the vehicles. That is a big yikes right there for Kodak Kid. Didn't work out for him, but his teammate did manage to get a knock. That's 80 down. And they're going to try and turn it around. Meanwhile, Uber sees Navi in the distance. Long-time teammates in the distance there. Gustav has been cut out by Harold as well as 80 down. So FaZe down to 1. Down picked off. Gustav picked off there. Harold also goes down to free kill. They didn't finish off Inside Games, and now they're starting to shoot them in the back.
Yeah, here, FaZe is going to be able to pick up 80 actually more. Uber is in the back, still trying to make sure that they can stay alive. Bestluck has found Inside Games. Inside Games is going to go down, so this is going to be an easy pick, and the damage from the zone is also in factor here.
But they're losing players. Tab's been picked off by Pome while Bestluck does the job and finishes off the back line. They're losing people on the front, and they are on the far side of the blue. They've got to get moving. This is going to start ticking hard. While this is all playing out, Atletico and Tornado Energy are still involved in this brawl in the shooting range. Everybody else has kind of got positional advantage. Meta down south, they're going to be involved with shoot to kill. Keep your eye on that kill feed as we watch Kemba here. The last man standing for Na'Vi, way out in the cold. Singularity also in trouble now as the circle continues to shrink. And Wildcard, they want to get involved. They're going to have FaZe Clan on their backs any minute.
Quick, still trying to see if you can pick up a few kills. They're not inside the zone. Meanwhile, FaZe, they're going to be pushing on to Wildcard. Wildcard, they're not even looking for it right now. This could be a brilliant setup for them. Pixel's going to try to see if he can get Kemba down. No, not possible just yet. And he's going to be found himself. Quick is going to get that. That's Inside Games out in 15th.
Welcome to South Georgia, sitting on the edge of the circle, welcoming anybody that comes in. It's all happening in the north there. Na'Vi, 14th place for them. FaZe Clan realize the danger, and they're going to have to push south. They still have Singularity there, and welcome to South Georgia. You can see all their eyes prone towards Singularity. Meanwhile, Team Liquid, they're trying to collect it. They are sitting in that middle crash site still, very comfortable, but there goes Singularity, predictably. Welcome to South Georgia, picking up more kills. It's a high kill game for them already.
Wooly, he has spotted FaZe, but they were able to get in. They could grab another side here. Honestly, I would like to see Wildcard just pushing around this, playing on the edge like they are right now and avoiding FaZe, because that push in the open, they're going to be exposing themselves to FaZe Clan.
Look how aggressive. Look at this map right now. This is perfect. Look at Uncivil. There was 2 in this room. So they've sent 3 down, shoot to kill. They are being very proactive in this circle and looking for those kills. They know that they have the entirety of this back hill. They're not going to be expecting kill demo, but now we have Exalt and Exodus making that move. They're going to be pushing the crash site right on top of Ibi, pretty much is where they're going to be facing there. Ibi will see them, shoot to kill, have all that information ahead though. They know that they're coming, and they've got the 4 men that can wrap in. Their threat right now, I would say, is probably welcome to South George.
Letico and Tornado Energy still fighting in the shooting range. It's just going to be easy pickings for potentially Ibiza here, and some of the other guys are just looking down into it. Tornado Energy has picked off 2 so far, and Letico is down to 2 players. Ibi is trying to get some information. Spotted Naleb. I'm not sure if you want to take just a fight just yet. He has to be able to make sure that he can get the point if he gets the knock. Otherwise, it's definitely not worth it. He's going to be able to go for it. Naleb nearly gone down. One more shot connecting, and he would have been knocked there.
Frustrated couple of shots. Realized he didn't get the headshot on the first kill. That's what he wanted. Now he sees Exodus in the distance. They're trying to make the move. Vegas, Taylor J, and Balefrost all very much out in the cold. Back in the shooting range. This is going to be a fight to the death. Extreme will go down. He got a knock in the first place on Compop, but Melman comes in and flushes out that kill. It leaves Nick, I believe, as the last man for Atletico. He's got to try and move his through, but everybody is looking this way. Wildcard all have their eyes trained. Whoever comes out in this fight still has to fight that gauntlet of running up the hill. They better have a lot of smokes. Back towards the center. Shoot to kill do involve on Salt there, so they managed to catch him down, Exalt, with their salty tags.
And Nick here trying to get a point before he goes down to potentially go blue, or he will die to Tornado Energy. Liquid could potentially gatekeep as well. Oh, he spotted him as well. Look at this. This is a
so tempting for Ibi. Well, he's actually already had it. He's already had it. He's got the level 3 gear already.
No extended mag for his SLR though. That could be rough.
This is risky. This is a risky move going across that rock. This is why he's keeping an eye on what's going on down in shooting range. He's well away. He wants to reposition and try and pick up the kills here. He wants the points. Team Liquid need the points. He's very much aware of Exodus to the side, and he's actually working very well for him. Ibi, he's going to get closer to Exalt. Is he going to get an age range? I don't think so.
We'll see what's going to happen. Wildcard are moving down slowly. They're still in the north, but they're looking towards Tornado Energy, trying to get some points there. Exodus, though, they're going to be going down in 9th. South is going to find Shiv, though.
South side, Exodus and... sorry, not Exodus. Welcome to South Georgia, shoot to kill. Starting to trade blows. They're kind of on either side of a big ridge line, so they're not really going to get involved with one another. It's probably Exalt and Team Liquid that will fight first, but here we go. James has all the Wildcard coming up on him, runs out of bullets, has to go for a quick reload before he gets Keenan down. He has managed to get the knock onto Sharpshot. Wildcard's down as well. That nade should confirm it. That's going to be Sharpshot gone. It will do enough damage to just bleed him down, and now Keenan, who was mega earlier on in scrims, by the way, I should say, he was absolutely popping off in there with some beautiful ironside shots, but absolutely can deliver. Team Liquid are taking fights on at 3 different positions right now, on Tornado Energy, on Exalt, and Wildcard.
Yeah, they're opening up right now. They were really split before. Now they're going to go down to 1. Kayman's going to be knocked. I'm not sure if Tornado Energy is going to be able to confirm that. He has a tree to work with and potentially could be picked up by either EB or James. Tornado Energy... Team Liquid left them. They could have gatekept them. Wildcard could have gatekept them, getting those points from the shooting range, but they completely let Tornado Energy move into the position and get into the circle.
And with Team Liquid giving up the crash site, obviously they were forced away from it by Welcome to South George. Welcome to South George have been wrapping around the south. It's give FaZe the crash site.
Yeah.
Oath obviously still have Wolf proned in there, keeping himself down. That's a big knock. Shong was knocked. He is going to get revived by Iroh, though. Should be able to get back on his feet. Keenan will get K-Mine confirmed as well. So James and Ibi, the last 2 standing for Team Liquid. As they try and rush towards the crash site, they've got to be careful that Oath is still in there. They haven't given up on that one, but now shoot to kill. They're on the hunt. They're going towards Melman and Tornado Energy. About to prowl the hill. Completely on another Purdy-curdy mid-switching gun. Mere shock in his face as he sees Melman's head.
Trying to nade it out. Random nade. He did see Melman though, but he can't see him anymore. 4 more nades to go. There's still the meta right now. Pretty little 3 helmet, broken though, with a 3 vest, super strong setup for him right now. They're going to reposition again, not worth fighting on the east side. They're not inside the zone. If the fight opens and they get a knock, they're not going to be able to pick up the player. So they're going to go for positional advantage rather than trying to get a few free kills. So they're going for the win. This is the winning move by going into a position like this. So then Energy, they're sticking on the edge here. They're trying to get in, trying to work their way in, kind of opening the door slowly. James is the only one still trying to see if they can get some he can get some information off this and see where Tornado Energy is, and potentially if he could get a kill from this push.
We're down to 7 teams, 22 alive. Lots of 4-man squads still out there. Wildcard, welcome to South Shore. Tornado Energy and Shoot to Kill, all with 4 alive on their feet. These are big teams, all looking for their first victory here at the GLL Finals. Welcome to South Georgia, have decided to sweep around. You can see them now. They're facing off against FaZe Clan. They've already flushed a team out, and that nade from Miracle was absolutely on the head of 8C. Brilliant stuff. He's going to try and crawl away from it, but he's done. He is gone, and that takes FaZe down to 2.
Unlucky for 8C.
The initial engagement, Shoot to Kill have got Alia down. They've immediately moved in on this one. That's over on the eastern side. On the western side, we're welcome to South George there. But Tornado Energy, they're forced to back away, but the problem is they're backing into Wildcard.
Shoot to Kill still on a decent position on the zone here. Potentially could push Tornado Energy and try to get some more kills. EB's going to find Iro, Vard.
That's 2 down.
Yep.
They've just lost 1 as well. They said they've lost both down with Vard going down. Iro revived. He did just get revived a moment ago, so he's going to be bleeding pretty quickly. James doing work from the shack, making it work. Tornado Energy still backing around. They did get a knock on Wildcard. They're trying to push on this, but Keenan's giving the cover fire as Shoot to Kill try and pressure their backs.
Here, Purdy with an MK-14, my favorite gun personally, and an F4X. 9 kills so far for these guys. Wildcard's going to get all 4 alive, but they're very close to the edge. But Sharpshot's in there. He's gonna try to get them into a position, but again, they know Tornado Energy is in a rough position. They want to see if they can get some points from this.
Shots popping off, Compot with an all. You love to see it, and he lands it. He catches Wooly. Oh, Melman with the headshot on Keenan as well. This tree is not thick enough for these boys, I'm afraid. Wildcard, the Americans, getting caught out as Compot catches Wooly on the arm. He's looking at nothing else was showing out there as he finally gets knocked down. Sharp shot in trouble. They're going to try and push around it, but Shoot to Kill will catch him in the backsides. They're going to both bleed out, so the kills will go to Tornado Energy.
This is great for Purdy. Putting some pressure on to Wildcard means also pressure onto Tornado indirectly. Compot's going to go down. Melman's going to take down Kickstart. Oath, though, is going to find FaZe.
Yeah, that's a big shock for FaZe. They did not expect someone to be stuck in here. Oath, there's not really anywhere for him to go, but he's going to try and nade his way out. Ooh, that nade. Luckily, it took a wild bounce, and it doesn't go towards Uber. Uber trying to keep him peeking. That's a risky peek, but he will make it pay off. But instead, will go down straight away to welcome to South Georgia as they collect the points on FaZe Clan as they go out in 5th place, and that's going to be Oath following in 6th. Incredible stuff now. So, welcome to South Georgia. They got 3 back on their feet. Shoot to Kill still with 4 alive. The team that dominated the North American regional qualifiers are looking to try and pick up their first big win here.
And Exambo's going to go down to the zone, denying himself. We're going to have 3 teams left. Shoots to Kill. They have their positional game is just unparalleled right now. 10 kills. They're taking the east and making sure they're inside the zone, still putting on pressure on the teams, making sure they have to fight each other out. Teams is going to be found. Nice shots from Luke.
Shots in the back, but it doesn't quite connect. Tries to catch it around the side. Ibby manages to get in just about. Welcome to South George, also looking to punish. But it is Team Liquid that have that crash site covered off. Welcome to South George have had good angles on it every single time. And now Shoot to Kill. They've got to go for a northern wrap here to try and come around. And Welcome to South George coming to the center on the western side. Team Liquid, they are the sandwich to the big slices of bread that are coming between North America and Europe.
Miracle has spotted him. James is trying to see if he can get some more information. But again, great positional play from Luke and guys from Shoot to Kill here. Still outside the zone, but they're going to get into a great position and be able to play the last zone. It's going to end very close to Ibi. Actually, both Welcome to South George and Shoot to Kill, they're in a spot where they will have to fight each other before they are going to get close enough to Ibi, because the last zone is obviously going to end in the middle. Ibi, with a level 3 helmet and vest, he's going to be able to tank a little bit before he dies.
This shows to me that he is unaware of their repositioning. They're all looking to where Shoot to Kill were. They have completely wrapped around, and they are in the circle. James, though, with the nade looking. His 3 HEs in his hand. Remember, this is the previous patch. We haven't reverted to the new nades at the moment. James has to hop straight back in there. It's pretty much where Oath was sitting. Ibby's position is also known. He peeked a little too much as Purdy Curdy pops off as many shots as he can to try and catch Ibby, who go for a re-peek. Welcome to South George. They're hearing all these shots. They know the positions now. Shoot to kill. Team Liquid, they're just going to keep their heads down. Oh, was that? Please don't tell me that was a smoke. It was good. Didn't quite see it, but that's a nade. Purdy Curly on point. Iroh also caught off with a headshot.
And Civil's going to find that, and this is really great for Shoot to Kill. They're opening up this grade. It's going to be a 4 versus 1 versus 2. His Iroh is going to be maybe be picked up by Miracle. They have a smoke on him, but look at this. They're pushing. They have some grenades they could potentially throw that as well. I'm not sure if they have any left, but more smokes, more nades are coming out. Alo is super aggressive. I love this from Shoot to Kill.
Some great aggression, and you'll love to see it. A Shoot to Kill go looking to try and make this a big kill finish. Purdy Curdy on the hunt. He's managed to finish Ibby off. Jeems still sitting at that plane. Don't forget about him. Don't sleep on him. Welcome to South Georgia. Got their 3rd back on their feet here. They have 8 kills themselves. They're waiting for Jeems, but Jeems is tossing the nades out. That's going straight towards Welcome to South George. Where does it finish? He's got plenty to throw. He's going to keep on tossing them. Remember, there was 4 bodies within that plane, so he's just going to keep on picking them up and tossing them out straight towards them. Miracle should be able to get the first angle along with Iroh. They see him down low. Miracle doesn't make it count, but he will eventually go down, but the damage has been done, and Shoot to Kill should capitalize.
Shoot to Kill is going to be moving up in this, potentially try to get the knock as well and take it away from Jeems. Well played by Jeems though. Alo is going to find Iroh. He's going to be going down very low. Oh my god, Iroh's going to return on Alo with a nice headshot.
We saw him do a massive spray transfer in the regional qualifiers, taking down 3 players. Is it possible? 11 kills encountered for Shoot to Kill, but it's all on the shoulders of Iroh. The revive is coming in. They're going to get Miraku back on his feet with that many smokes down. It's going to work out for them. No, Miraku down. Purdy Curdy finds him. It's down to Chong and Iroh. Iroh shows himself around the side. Luke gets him. Purdy Curdy gets the other. It's a 14-kill win for the Americans. Shoot to Kill that dominated the regional qualifiers. They failed in their PGS qualifications. They put it behind them now with their first big win here at the GLL Stockholm Finals.
24 points in just 1 game. Before that, they had only level. They're going to more than triple their points just with this game alone. This is a great start for them. They had some rough times. They didn't qualify for the PGS, as you said. And this is a start they wanted. They want to redeem themselves looking into this. These guys on this map here, they're just playing phenomenally. Their positional game is just unparalleled right now, or was unparalleled in this last game.
They were so proactive with their play down on that south side. They had the compound. They knew they were safe in that compound. They had Exalt and Exodus to their right-hand side. They knew there was threats coming from Georgipol, so they swept 3 players around there. It was a big, bold play to just leave 1 in that compound. They could have got overwhelmed quite easily, and then they would have lost their backs. But instead, they went aggressive. It paid off for them. Absolutely fantastic stuff. I love to see it. I love to see proactive teams. We've seen so often teams that will just sit passively and let positions go ahead of them. But Shoot to Kill, they absolutely made it work this time.
Also, happy to see Welcome to South Georgia step up like this. They had a great game. 2nd place, 9 kills. It's 15 points. Again, also a team, they're going to double their points. They had 13 before this, so this is the start they wanted. I was talking about some of the teams that I wanted to see kind of starting today, because if they don't start today, it's going to be too late for them tomorrow, because they're going to be so battered. They're going to be so unhappy with their performance that they're not going to be able to bring it back. But Welcome to South Georgia and Shoot to Kill here.
And if
Massive
you think of their early game positions, obviously Welcome to South Georgia, or not Welcome to South Georgia anymore, they're just WTSG now. They've dropped the Welcome to South Georgia, apparently, because they're not in South Georgia. But they went for Cube. Remember that race, the foot race, really early on? Well, not foot race, they were in cars. But that was, Olmec could have been there. Singularity could have been there. But instead, WTSG got there first. They held the north-south. They gave themselves the options. And that's what opened up the gameplay for them. I would say Team Liquid, they got themselves 3rd place, a lucky 3rd place, because WTSG had their number early on, but actually backed out of the fight. They took on Oath, they took on Team Liquid, and that's where they collected a lot of those 9 kills.
Also, they repositioned really well, Liquid. They were on the mountain, remember? They had to cross the bridge. They had to get into the west and try to reposition, run on foot. They fought their way there. 3rd place is very good for them, but it could have been better. They spread out too much, in my opinion. They could have played together as 3 or even 4, but unluckily for them, it turned out bad.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we have 2 more rounds of Erangel to go. Don't go anywhere.
Don't just watch PUBG, compete as well. Competitive ELO and ranking system. Climb the ladder. Start your path to pro. Head over to play.gll.gg. The best PUBG platform.